All right, welcome back to Rebel Ants Radio. Kevin here with Jack and Grant from Ovation. We are live at NFT NYC. Jack, Grant, welcome.
Thank you.
Jack, what is Ovation?
Ovation, we are aiming to build the first NFT super app. So we're combining discoverability, purchasing, managing, and socializing with NFTs into one tailored Web3 application. So,
And when you say one, is it distributed now when you're trying to combine some services?
yeah, so think of Twitter, Discord, and OpenSea had a Web3 baby, and that's Ovation. So it'll be one application with the NFT lifecycle or journey, so to speak, all those features into one.
And why hasn't this been done before?
I think it's a pretty huge task, right? I mean, you are combining a lot of social, marketplace, profile features into one application. So it's a big task, and it's obviously Web3 and blockchain is still emerging. So there's still continuously new ideas being pushed out all the time. So,
Yeah. And where did the need for this come from? Is it because people are just not able to maintain being in 7 places at once, or are you like we can build on top of having people in one place?
Yes.
What's the story there?
I say that was one of our struggles. Was just like started the NFT bull run about 2-3 years ago. Like our biggest issue is just like trying to find like projects and join the Discord and trying to keep up with all these different websites. We just realized like one centralized website could be the fix to all these problems. And in addition to that, we have Twitter and Discord, which aren't really built for NFTs. As we saw recently, Twitter just removed the ability to have an NFT profile picture. So, we're using these Web2 platforms, which are really limiting our capabilities in Web3 and NFTs in the community. So, we need to have an actual platform for our users.
Like a native crypto one.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, how big of a challenge is this to say, hey, get off of Discord, come here. Get off of Twitter, come here. How do you incentivize somebody to make that move?
Yeah, so we're going to focus. So our go-to-market, we're going to focus on unique features that don't exist on Twitter and Discord.
Can you drop one?
So the first feature that we are aiming to roll out is called Initiatives. And so initiatives are direct ways that creators can collaborate with other creators. So an initiative could be, you guys have a podcast. So one of your initiatives are, we want to get people on the podcast. Other creators could see that initiative and reply and say, hey, I'm building this, or I'm an artist. I'd love to be on the podcast. And so that's an example of an initiative as it relates to what you guys are doing. So that's our first feature that doesn't exist on any other social platform. And so we're going to use features like that solve these pain points, but that do not compete with the current mainstream platforms.
I see. And so is the target the NFT project to say, hey, you guys move to Ovation, then your crowd will follow too?
Yeah, that's as we move into more social marketplace features, that's the part of the go-to-market, right?
All right.
Is to attract the creators, the audience will follow.
What are the biggest challenges you're having so far with getting this to market?
We're bootstrapped, right? So the only funding we have is from Texas Blockchain Grant. Me and Grant, we fund Ovation as of now. So we have 2 full-time jobs. But yeah, just the whole bootstrapped approach. So building a team out of pure equity, getting the app developed, building the community, again, bootstrapped marketing, getting partners on board. We do have 88 partners, and we have a growing Twitter following, and we're a month away from MVP, but just trying to do it all with a small team. It can be pretty difficult. But
well, we can relate. It's Miguel and I that do everything, right? Between the art, the website, the podcast, the social media. Right. We suck at Discord, and we've just abandoned it. That's we just can't be there, let alone try to be in the Discords for the projects that we are a part of, Right. So we aren't good at that. And we also have full-time jobs that we're trying to do this on the side, and it's a passion project for us. Sure. I know that probably for you, Ovation's a little bit more than just a passion project. You're trying to make it, probably your full-time thing, right?
Right.
That'd be great if Rebel Ants was our full-time thing too. So that's good. And what is your background that you're the one to step up and say, we can do this?
So I do cybersecurity consulting full-time.
And I work in finance, but our team now is about 10, 11 people, from a variety of backgrounds. So people in background in tech, people in background that have worked with startups, have led teams before. So, it's not just Jack and I that, are the only ones taking over everything.
Sure.
We've grown a team with tons of background, tons of experience, which I think is part of the reason that Ovation has grown to what it is today. It's not just us two, it's a lot of people as well.
Yeah, so when you talk about growing, are you setting these milestones for yourself in terms of that growth once you go live to say, hey, we need to have 5,000 users by this point, or how are you tracking that success and that growth?
Yeah, I would say we don't have quantified metrics specifically for the platform. We do have visions with, like Jack mentioned earlier, we have over 80 partners right now. So, we're trying to get that to 100 before the MVP launch. In addition to that, just increase our follower count. I think a goal for us is to get to 10,000 followers. Right now we're at about 6.5. So, we're just keep pushing and grinding every day on Twitter.
Yeah.
So, right now it's really growing that community presence. So, ideally, I think a good vision for us is within the first year of the MVP to have, close to 10 to 50,000 users, somewhere in that range. But, first things first, we're just working on getting the MVP out.
Yeah.
And then start focusing on that growth.
Are you, of the audience you have, the 6,500 on Twitter as it is, are you getting feedback from them and trying to implement some of those things? If they're like, hey, we really like this feature, or this is a pain point for us now, fix this. What is that like?
We definitely have. And that's one great thing with our partners is we're partnered with projects, artists, and businesses, influencers, people like that within the community. So we get a perspective from all walks of the Web3 path. And we've heard a lot. One thing is the initiatives. It's hard for me to connect with people who have this same vision, try to get people on my space. So we've seen positive feedback from that, as well as for artists. Artists have a big issue like connecting with people, getting their art out there. There's multiple different websites like Foundation and other websites where they post their art, but there's not that centralized place where they can purely get out their projects, what they've developed and they've created. So we have heard good feedback from our artist partners, from initiatives, and just the aspect of having that all in one.
Yeah.
So also add to that.
Yeah, no, initiatives came out of the hundreds of calls that we had with people showing the prototype. The prototype was at the time is Adobe XD, and so initiatives came. Yeah,
I like it.
Initiatives came out of those conversations where everybody that we talked to had these sort of things behind the scenes that they were aiming to do. Well, you wouldn't know that looking at their Twitter profile. You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone in the space, there's a lot of influx of new and young builders or people that are doing it as a side gig like you guys, right?
Yeah.
So it's a passion project, and so when you're operating in that sort of element, you need to connect with people, and so initiatives are a way to kind of do that.
Yeah. All right. So I have two questions. Maybe they connect to each other. So let me try and ask them both. One, is this strictly a Web3 thing? Because it sounds like maybe Web2 creators may also have a need for this. And how are you going to, stay with the movement? Like how fast the crypto world moves and how quickly things change, right? We've seen all these different metas and cycles. You've got to stay ahead of that, but also maybe still appeal to Web2 companies. I don't know. Where are you guys thinking with onboarding other non-cryptos and staying relevant?
That's funny you bring it up. I was actually speaking with our head of partnerships, project manager Malcolm, right there, who's off camera right now.
What up, Malcolm?
But we were just talking about it today. How there's tons of Web2 potential with Ovation as well. I see Ovation. And not only are we having those like Web3 features with marketplaces and exchanges, but the social aspect is we're able to create like a more personalized profile that you have with Twitter, Instagram, any of these other platforms. It's a great way for people to really express themselves, get out there what they're working on, what they're doing, what they're looking for. So, I think there is a good impact that Ovation can have on Web 2 and getting those Web 2 people onto Web 3. Our main focus right now is Web 3, just so we can focus on a niche group that, we know well. We've been in the space for a long time. I think there's a second part to your question.
Yeah, like staying relevant and current with where the communities are.
Yeah. I was saying Web3 it's always changing.
Yeah.
We were just joking about like a year or two ago it was dynamic NFTs and storytelling NFTs. It's always changing. And I think just the fact that we're on Twitter, we're on Discord every day, we're in the community every day, that we're able to keep up with what the trends are. A lot of things do come and go, but we see the things that do stick around, and we try to really focus on those things to make a good impact.
Well, I'll close it off by saying, last year and this year, there's been a big focus about user experience.
Right.
And so our main aim with Ovation is to create a great user experience. So we're trying to solve direct pain points and solve them well. And the more Web3 as a whole does that, the more users will come into the picture. Because if you don't create that good user experience, if people are investing into your project or platform just for money, Once the money dries up, they're gone because you're not actually solving underlying pain points. You're not creating a good user experience. If you are solving pain points, creating a good user experience, people are going to use the platform whether they make money from it or not.
Yeah.
That's what we're aiming to do.
Yeah, I mean, if I try a new app or some of the things I've seen here, if I have like any friction signing up, I'm like, I'm done, never again.
Exactly. That's
and I know that's not the right approach, but it's just like I can't sit
It's
here.
the human approach.
Yeah, I can't.
That's what humans
I can't
do, though.
fuss with this and get pissed and then throw my phone.
Yeah, so we're doing the same thing. So we're using zero auth. So we'll have Google authentication, Twitter authentication, frictionless onboarding into Ovation. So
Yeah.
you can create an account. It's not connect a wallet and then hop in. It's Twitter or Google authentication, hop in, see what it's about, do the wallet later. So we need more approaches
Sure.
like that. Because exactly to your point, I did the same thing yesterday. So-
Yeah, I'm like, all right, good. And so you use the word payment. We're talking about wallets. Like, is there payment within the app? Is that an aspect of this actual payments, whether it's buying something directly in the app or tips and gratuity sort of thing?
Yeah, so on the social side,
Yeah.
you can, so within a profile or a portfolio, you can tip that person's portfolio. Hey, I like your NFT. You may not want to buy it.
Right,
but
yeah.
I like it, so you can tip. It'll be our in-platform token, OVA. So you can tip within a profile on the social feed, on the timeline as well. You can tip it, kind of like an upvote, like Reddit. So that's part of the algorithm.
Yeah, and so OVA, is that like an L2 and L3 of something?
It'll be on Archway,
Okay.
the token itself. And then, when it comes to the marketplace, of course, they'll be purchasing within the marketplace.
Yeah, really cool. Where can people find Ovation? Where can they follow along? Where can they kind of anticipate the release of this?
Yeah, best place to reach us is on X, at Ovation_network.
Okay.
And that's where we spend the most time. You can check out our website, ovation.network. We're working on revamping it right now, so some things on there might be a little outdated, but we have contact information at the bottom.
Yeah.
I'd say that's the best place to reach us.
Good. And each of you, where can we find you, Jack and Grant?
Yeah, Jack with 2 B's, Bliss.
Jack with 2 B's,
on
Jack B.
Twitter.
Bliss.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and for me, it's at Govawova. That's GOVAWOVA.
Oh,
So
that's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to write that one down. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for coming on Rebel Lance Radio. Great hearing about
Appreciate it.
Ovation. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I want to, follow along and see how maybe we can get on your platform and
Absolutely.
see if we can bring our crowd too. So thank you,
Awesome.
and good luck at NFT NYC and your
Appreciate it.
future endeavors.